For somebody starting today, what does it look like in practice? Let's say you want to write a snake for eBPF. Where do you start?
Yeah, so the first place that I would recommend starting is evps.io. This is like the homepage of the community, and it has a lot of different resources on there. The place that I would start reading is like the What is eBPF page, and it walks you through what eBPF is and kind of like all the different components in a little bit more detail than we've talked about today. And it gives you a good idea and overview of what eBPF actually is. From there, a good place to go after that is obviously Wikipedia. Like any good things on the internet, eBPF has a Wikipedia page, and it dives a little bit more into nuts and bolts about the different parts of eBPF and how they work. And then if you actually want to get into the actual programming, there's a couple different resources. So one, like we actually have a hands-on lab, like getting started with eBPF. This sets you up in a live system and essentially walks you through a hello world type of program. So you're like writing your first eBPF program. But if you want to get a little bit more hands-on than that, so Liz Rice has actually written 2 different books on eBPF. First, what is eBPF? And then the second one is learning eBPF. The first one is like a really short 60-page, essentially like telling you how to write your first eBPF programs. I think that's a really good like short overview. And then learning eBPF is like the actual semi-textbook type of thing that's actually diving more in detail, and that'll help you write your first programs. I think I really like the Learning eBPF program because it's actually inspired somebody in the community that I know. They said, hey, I see that there's eBPF libraries for Go, for Python, for a couple other languages, but there's not one for Java yet. And I'm a Java developer. So I'm going to take the Learning eBPF book and try to re-implement all the different things that are in there in Java and write my own Java library for eBPF. And Johannes has like this whole series of blog posts about how he's able to write Java code to implement eBPF programs. He started out with Hello World, and he's taken it all the way to writing a firewall. And he actually just at eBPF Summit talked about how he used Java eBPF, or he wrote Java code that translates to eBPF to write a scheduler for Linux. So he's writing a Java scheduler for Linux using eBPF. And so you see the whole kind of progression there. And it was cool for him to see the initial blogs, get excited about it, like get the book, want to re-implement some of the examples, and now creating his own scheduler. And so this is something that anybody can do. I'd recommend his blog post. You can see like the whole progression and the journey across that. And you can really go from not knowing anything about eBPF to writing your own scheduler. So that's a really good book for it too. And then shameless self-promotion here. I also wrote a book called Buzzing Across Space, the Illustrated Children's Guide to eBPF.